Okay, the Woman King is based on an all-female regiment by the name of the Angoji, during the Dahomey, better known as the Dahomey Amazons, named from the Europeans. They were an all-female military regiment of the Kingdom of Dahomey, which existed from the 1600s until 1904. They are the only documented female armies in modern history. They were named Amazons by Western Europeans who encountered them due to the story of the female warriors or Amazons in Greek mythology. So when you see Wonder Woman who claimed to be an Amazon, that myth is out the window. Black women are the original Amazons. So that's a plus. The emergence of an all-female military regiment was the result of Dahomey's male population facing high casualties in the increasingly frequent violence and warfare with neighboring West African states. This led to Dahomey being one of the leading tribes in the slave trade, with the Oyo Empire, which used that for commodity exchange as part of the growing phenomenon of slave trade in West Africa during the Age of Discovery, until the British brought an end to the slave trade in the region. The lack of men likely led the kings of Dahomey to recruit women into the army. Well, the British Empire is one of the biggest, not the biggest, perpetrators of the slave trade. I don't know where all of a sudden they got this concept like, oh, we need to stop the slave trade. You convince these African nations, you put it in their ear, they can make money. You show them little trinkets, rifles, horses, guns. You convince these countries to turn on each other. Along with your Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch friends who also got in on the slave trade. So they're trying to make it look like that you was the one, that you just all of a sudden just grew up, just had a conscience and just decided to stop this. Y'all stopped it only after y'all benefited from it. Make no mistake, y'all still stealing from this very day. The third king of Dahomey is said to have originally started the group which would later become the Amazons as a corps of elephant hunters called the Gabito. You know, I don't want to disrespect the king's name because I'm not going to sit up and say I know how to pronounce it. But this actually comes from the modern, what is now known as Benin. This is where they come from. Okay, they had their little conflict with France. European encroachment into West Africa gained pace during the later half of the 19th century, and in 1890, King Bahazin started fighting French forces in the course of the First Franco-Dahomey War. European observers noted that the woman handled admirably in hand-to-hand combat but fired their flintlocks from the hip rather than fire from the shoulder. The Amazons participated in one major battle, Cotonou, where thousands of Dahomey, including many Amazons, charged the French lines and engaged the defenders in hand-to-hand combat. The Amazons were decisively crushed, with several hundred Dahomey troops being gunned down. Reportedly, 129 Dahomey were killed in melee combat with the French lines. By the end of the Second Franco-Dahomey War, special units of the Amazons were being assigned specifically to target French officers. After several battles, the French prevailed in the Second Franco-Dahomey War and put an end to the independent Dahomey kingdom. French soldiers, particularly of the French Foreign Legion, were impressed by the boldness of the Amazons and later wrote about their incredible courage and audacity in combat. Yeah, of course you're going to talk about them after you killed them. against a military unit with decidedly superior weaponry and a longer bayonet. However, the Dahomey Amazons could not prevail. And this is the picture of the veterans of the annual meeting at Abomey in 1908. The troops were disbanded with the kingdom become a French protectorate. Oral tradition states that some surviving Amazons secretly remained in Abomey afterwards, where they quietly assassinated a number of French officers. Other stories say that women pledged their services in protection of the Ogola Igbo, the brother of Bahazin, disguising themselves as his wives in order to guard him. Some of the women married and had children, while others remained single. According to a historian who traced the lives of almost 24 ex-Amazons, all the women displayed difficulties adjusting to life as retired warriors, after struggling to find new roles in their communities that gave them a sense of pride comparable to their former lives. Many displayed a tendency to start fights or arguments that frightened their neighbors and relatives. Nawe, the last Dahomey Amazon. The last survivor of the Dahomey Amazons is thought to have been a woman named Nawe. Nawe, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. In 1978 interview in the village of Kinta, a Beninese historian met Nawe, who claimed to have fought the French in 1892. Nawe died in November 1979, aged well over 100. So this is the story that the Woman King is based on. And anywhere I don't see anything about being in interracial relationships. Now within the movie The Woman King, the main character's love interest is right here. This is the love interest. I just want you to truly understand, after I just read to you about the history of the Amazons, there was no interracial relationships. So just keep that in mind. This was being promoted in The Woman King. And this is the director of The Woman King. Her name is Gina Price by the Wood. Now, let me ask a question to you sisters out here. Do she look like a black woman to you? And I'm just going to leave that right there. Do she look like she has the best interest of black females? I had looked up her parents. One seemed to be an Indian and another seems to be a white man. But I'm not 100% on that. That's out for speculation. It's not even that deep. But she's not a black woman. That's my opinion. So, in my conclusion, the Dahomey all-female unit was strong, fierce. They fought against the French. They lost both times. Some still continued to kill French officers. Some got married, had families. Some didn't know how to adjust to civilian life because they were used to fighting. But there was no promotion of interracial relationships. And the Europeans dubbed them Amazons. We did not. Now I remind you, these is all from European perspectives. We have not heard it from the very descendants of these beautiful all black female warriors. I didn't like the way they was depicted in the movie as being very manly. Because I'm sure they was not manly how they are shown in the movie. Again, as black women, in a way, this is something to be proud of because, yes, this is a true story. But in the same token, there was no interracial relationship, to which they just threw that in there. If you truly want to learn about the all-black female regiment of the Dahomey Kingdom, you can look it up for yourself. And it is known as Modern Benin, or OU. I'm still learning this myself. But I know there was no interracial relationships, and that's what they're promoted in this movie. The reason why this was created, why the regiment was created, because of a lot of male casualties. So yeah, this is something to be proud of, but at the same time, you got to look at it for what it really is. None of these movies have proper representation of black men or black women in mind. They want to portray black women as being masculine, and they want to portray black men as being feminine. So you really want to make a true historical movie about our people, we need to have our own film production. We need to have our own company. And we can do this. And I'm going to end it right here. You can like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Leave your comments below. And if you're new for the first time, please subscribe. And again, this is no disrespect to my sisters, because I love you. I just want to make sure you are properly represented. And this movie doesn't really show what the all-female regiment done. And I'm out.